Right. Uh, got a request the other day, or yesterday actually, to put. Well, first of all, today I'm gonna be shrink wrapping my buddy Brian's boat. I'm gonna get the canvas down for him, get it rolled up, probably take it out of the boat. I don't think he stores it on the boat. I'll take it out of the boat for him, put it somewhere, and then we'll get the shrink wrapped. But first, I want to go to my boat. There's a couple things I want to do to mine. I probably won't do the vents right now, but I want to do this. I have a zipper. So we are going to go ahead and install this. Now, it's simple. The zipper is very just simple. You find out where you want to go. Find out which way you want the zipper to open. You want it to open up. So I'm going to put the bottom of the zipper here. It's going to go right about there. And then I'm just going to run a straight line up. It's on two-sided tape. So you just stick it on there. But then I run a piece of shrink wrap tape, like this. Right there. And then that's it. So I'm going to get a ladder and get up there, get a knife, and roll a tape, and we'll get this thing installed real quick. You can do all sorts of stuff with this. You can turn it a little bit, not crazy, but a little bit. This thing is really long, so I just like it straight. Help myself out. I gotta unzip it. Here, grab your pen knife. Give it a slit. This. Bottom. Leg in here. There you have it. There's your zipper. So what I like to do is, now I'll come back with the roll of tape, and I'll just tape, like right about there, and just tape it along here, just in case these want to come unstuck. It's pretty good, but just for insurance, I'll do that. But now that we're in here, let me turn you back on when we get inside. Okay, while I came in here, I went ahead and taped up these little nicks that I had. There and there and there. I thought they were on one of these folds, but they weren't. But I'm seeing, you see these little white nicks right there, there. All these things, those are all weak spots. So when you hit them with heat, they open up quicker than anything else. And I think I had quite a bit of those around here, so I don't know if the shrink wrap came in contact with something coming off the roll, or what happened there. But anyways, it's all fixed now. Yeah, one thing I noticed before I put the zipper on is I forgot to shrink this from about midway up, so I went and did that real quick and got the zipper on. Now they do sell zippers with big curves in them, big U-shaped ones. And I was gonna do that, but it was only like 24 inches tall, so it was like just a horseshoe, like 24 inches tall, and that was too small. So this one being 6 feet tall, I can still squeeze out of here without too much problem. So that's it for this one. I mean, that's it for this thing here. Ooh, I'm running out of battery. They're really easy to install. You just got to figure out where you're going to put them, and then, you know, they just stick them on, and then cut through them, and you're good to go. So this is going to be a little bit of a nightmare. My shrink wrap is back there, and I would like to get it directly underneath the anchor pulpit without running into all this gear, because that's just going to rip it up. So I think what I'm going to need to do is come in at an angle and try to get the thing up and over. Yeah, I'm going to have to get it up and over this corner here and just try to keep it centered. I'm going to have to do it a little bit at a time. First thing I want to do is get the strapping up. So I will show you guys how I did that. I explained it on the last one, but I'll show you how you do it this time. So let's go get that stuff and get ready to go. He doesn't really have a center spot either, unless you count this as the light, and I don't want to do that. So what I do is tie it around here. Yeah, you can actually make it tight, doesn't matter. Alright, so now what I do is I'll tie another one here, right to the center. Make kind of a loose loop. I'll show you. Just don't tie it all the way tight to there so it can still slide, so we can find center. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to have to shut you off because the deck is pretty slippery. It's still kind of frosty. But I'm going to unroll this all the way over the windshield and down the back of the radar arch, and then we'll go to the back and tie it off, and then we'll do the 2x4 trick. So hang on. What I did was stretch this nice and tight and pull it down and tie it to there, so that it just follows up and over the radar arch. Put it in the center the best you can, like that, and then it runs right straight up to the bow. So now what I'm going to do is about I think I go in this step, put a 2x4 here, and I'll just go like this, push this up and put the 2x4. So I'll hold it, so I'll bring a 2x4 in here and just bring this up here and just make a line on the thing and then cut it. So when I stick it back in here, I can staple it. Then I'll do another one about midship, and then one up towards the windlass. So let's go get some lumber, and we'll do that real quick. 2x4 I had left over from last year was the right height. I just put a little scrap underneath it just to kind of spread the weight out, and just put 2 staples in it, and now I'm pretty much in line with the radar arch. Might be just at the height or just a slight bit down. So now I'm going to go up here, take a 2x4 with me, and cut 2 more. So let's get you up on the bow and see how that's done. We're gonna go right there. Right about there is fine. Good for there. I'll just do another one up in front. So I'm gonna put a pad under here, so that's like the pad, and then that's where I want to cut it. Jesus. Sheet ice up here. slippery. Like that. Oh, it's got to go back. Just trying to get a nice, like a straight shot from where I just tied to. I think what I did here, right here, yeah, that'll work. So I'm just stanchion behind you here. Uh-oh, knife fell apart. This one. Come on, fingers, work. Okay. So just do this. This bracing here runs from that corner over. So I stapled it first to keep it in line, back to here. I'll do the same, you know, this angle, and then on this one I'll go over the top of this to that stanchion, I think. No, to this stanchion here, and then across to make a nice angle, and that'll give me my good grid up here so that you don't have any big, huge, wide open areas for the shrink wrap to fall into. So that'll work. Let me get this other one tied up and we'll get going. The webbing is up. Like I did up there, it's just, you know, corner to corner. Find yourself a place to tie to. Staple it on the top of the wood, and you get your nice webbing all the way up and down each side of the boat, so that when the shrink wrap lays on this, it doesn't all fall down in open cavities and, you know, give yourself a tough time. It'll all stick up there, or stand up pretty nicely, and then when we get it shrink wrapped, these things, I mean, these things are locked in place anyways right now, but once the shrink wrap's on there, these aren't going anywhere. So now what I got to do is make some pads to put on top of here on all three of these, so these corners don't dig in to the shrink wrap. I did that on the last video, so I will just go ahead and do that real quick, and we'll get to the next step. So everything's done up there, and the only reason I didn't show you every ribbing is because, you know, every boat's different. You're gonna have different places to tie it to. The only thing you got to remember is you have to go over the top of everything. See this bar right here? See how I tied it to that, went over the top of the radar arch and then over the 2x4. If I went from the 2x4 under the radar arch and tied it to that thing, snow would get stuck between the radar arch and where it sagged. The shrink wrap sagged down to that strap. So you don't want to do that. Well, I got the perimeter band going all the way around. Hung it from here, because if this wasn't here, this would drop down and it would fall down. So I keep that there. That keeps this up nice and high. I got it pretty tight to the boat, so that when I put my shrink wrap underneath it before I weld it, the pressure of the strap will hold it against the boat. I put another one here down to hold it from falling down. It runs through that eyelet right there. Through that outlet right there, and then comes along here. Got another one here holding it down, or holding it up, and another one back here holding it up. So that is good to go. Now what we want to do is make sure we got everything off the boat that we don't need, and then I gotta position my truck better to get the shrink wrap up and over the back of the boat, or up and over the bow of the boat. About as good as I'm gonna get it right here. So I kind of gotta go make sure I get it around that light, and make sure the center of it is around that light, and then bring it straight back. It's going to be a bit of a process, but we'll get it. Let me put you guys on something and watch this struggle happen. Well, that was a little bit of a pain, but it's down. I'm just going to cut it off here and lay it out flat. So now what I want to do is, since this is hanging over by quite a bit on either side, I'm going to pull it. Let's see, strap is right here. I'm gonna pull it so there's this much. Let's see, from the strap to here, so there's that much showing on the other side, and then we'll cut all this off. So I kind of gotta run back and forth here to kind of look at it, but get the idea here in a second. real good. I got it at, you know, it's hanging down about 8 inches on the other side, and, you know, 3 feet on this side. So I'm gonna get the torches out, weld the other side in a couple spots, like up where the pleat's gonna be, about midship, and then near the bow. And then I'll pull this over as tight as I can, and then weld this side. Hopefully this wind won't be a factor. It's starting to pick up, so I gotta get to work. I'm gonna go ahead and say screw it and get this bow done while I'm over here. Make it easier for the other side. so that's good. All the way up to the bow. I'm going to now cut off the back here. It's running really wild. And then we'll get it at least to the transom, and then go to the other side of the boat. I can only find where I just put that knife. Good to that corner there. Alright, that's good for this whole side. Now we got to go to the other side and trim off. Hangs down past the wheel, so we got to trim off 3-4 feet. Be right back. Part I got to cut off. It wasn't as much as I thought. It's only about 2 feet. It's not too horrible. I don't like wasting it, but you do multiple boats and you get a 26-foot wide roll, you're kind of limited on what you can do. This boat is 23 feet. I could go over sideways, and then they would open up to 26 feet, and then I could cut it off and not have any waste. But since this boat is 31 feet, I don't have that luxury. I didn't see how it's all kind of wrinkled right there. See how it's all kind of wrinkled right there? I'm kind of, instead of making a big pleat like I have on the back, I kind of broke it up into like 3 or 4 different sections, so that way when I shrink wrap that, they'll all tighten up and I won't have any folds that I have to weld. Like back here, it folds over on itself like a foot and a half, so you got to weld that. You can't take up that gap. Well, let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll go to the next step. Tightened up, and then get our belly straps put on. And just kind of cut it and get it figured out. bit extra in the front here. Cut that off. Tuck it in. And I can tuck it in. Get around the anchor like that. Very nice. Very nice right there. It's a good thing about, you know, this stuff welds to each other really well and sticks really good. So doing this works out really well. So that's basically on there now. Now it's time to put on our belly straps. Belly straps are, if you didn't watch the last video I just put up yesterday, it holds the shrink wrap down. So when I start shrinking this, it's going to want a tendency to pull that up. You don't want that. You want to keep it down. So I'm going to put one there in front of that stand there so it's not in his way, and then I'm probably going to put one between the wheels here, and then one behind the stands. So I'm going to do that off camera and just kind of show you what it's like when I'm done. Plug you back in for a little bit. As I put these belly straps down and then taped them off where they went. You saw in the last video how I do it. Poke a hole right above the strap. Let's see the strap right here. Poke a hole right there, tie your strap on it, run it underneath, do another hole, and then pull it nice and tight and stretch it out, and then put a piece of tape over it, kind of hold it together. Did that all the way around, and then I went underneath and just welded up, welded up the back there. So now everything's tight, and I got crap cleaned up around the boat, and I'm ready to start shrink wrapping it now. The only pleats that I see that I'm going to have to pay attention to are right here. This one here, that goes back in there about a foot or so. So I come up here as high as I can reach and throw some heat in there and slap that down, and that'll weld that on. I'll do the same to the other side, and then I can shrink wrap this whole boat from bow to stern and not worry about that pulling that. So that's welded up, as I start from the bow here, move my way back, it won't pull all that extra stuff there. It's all locked in. So let's just start at the bow as far as I can reach up and head our way back. sure if I just burned through them or if they were nicks that grew, because it doesn't look real thin around it. Like right, where did I go thin? Where did I go thin? Right here. See how this is thin right there? It doesn't look like that there. I think this is nick, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. I can put a vent there. You know what? I'm gonna put a vent there. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna do that right now. Show you how the vents go, because I didn't do it on the last video. So I'll be right back. It doesn't have to be pretty. That was really bad, but I usually get a lot tighter than that. But they just need to get this little pucker underneath it here, right? Oof, falling off the ladder. And then the holes up there. Make the hole a little bigger. And then there you go. There's your vent. Put one on the other side, and then the air can flow through it. So I'm gonna go continue. I'm gonna go do the other side of the boat, and then we'll get back and we'll do the top half. start as far as I can reach up there. I want to get to the posts, so I'm going to be taking this off the trailer soon anyways, so I will stand on the roof. It's either that or do the ladder. With the ladder, I just can't. You got to get far away enough from the boat that you can see the angle and get to it. And I've seen a lot of guys just use a tall ladder and put foam on the end of it, and then they can climb right up and do it. But I just find it easier to take this thing off the trailer and do it with the Bobcat. It's got to come off anyway, so I might as well. So let me get this cleaned up, do the other side, and then we'll get this machine off.